Yes, indeed. For a few years, we were really amazed to see that a church that we didn't know at all was also persecuted in China. So not only the Catholics, not only the Protestants or the Tibetans who are Buddhist or the Uyghurs who are Muslim, but also the Church of Almighty God. And we got conflicting news and reports about that church. And we hesitated a little bit because we said, okay, what is that group? It is totally unknown. We've never seen any list of prisoners coming from that religious group. So we started some investigation. And we discovered that there were 3 million of people belonging to your church having their religious life totally underground because they are not allowed to worship, to assemble publicly. And so they meet in houses, so that's what we usually call house churches. And it's only people meeting other people and talking about their faith that was the engine that explains the expansion, rather fast, I must say, of your movement. But once you started expanding and becoming visible for the Chinese authorities, then repression started. And of course, we have a mechanism in our human rights organization that monitors prisoners for religious reasons around the world. China, Iran, North Korea are on the top of that blacklist, unfortunately. And so we started collecting some information about this religious group. And not only names of prisoners, but also their personal stories, their daily life that was totally disrupted by the authorities. Just meeting in a house or even in a park to share their experience of God, or reading their, let's say, holy books or religious literature was attracting the attention of the authorities and automatically their repression. So we thought that something had to be done. And we knew we indeed needed to investigate that group. And then we asked some experts about religion in China to provide us some information. And some scholars made some research, like Professor Massimo Introvignie, but also others. And that was a very good and a reliable source of information for us to make one more step. Yeah, frankly speaking, as you said, China started spreading some sort of propaganda against your church. And that's what disturbed us at the beginning. So what to do? Where is the truth about your religious movement? And then we realized that it was all fake news about your religious group. And second point is that we saw a number of those members of your church coming to Europe, to France, to Germany, to Italy, to Greece, to Switzerland, and many others, but also in South Korea, for example. And they were complaining because the authorities of those countries, democratic countries, were not granting them political asylum. They were waiting for a long time, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years sometimes. And then suddenly in South Korea, they got an order saying, well, your application is rejected and you must leave the country. Must leave the country, it means being sent back to China. And being sent back to China means to be arrested, to be imprisoned, to be beaten, and then maybe without any trial to be sent to prison for a number of years. And we thought this is a humanitarian situation that must be revealed to the outside world, because those fake news had influenced everybody around the world. The radios, the television channels, the authorities deciding about whether or not to grant political asylum, and so on and so on. And so it was time to deconstruct the negative impact and effect of the fake news of China, to reveal the reality, in order to be able to convince the authorities of the countries where they are looking for a safe haven, that they should be accepted as politically persecuted Christians, and that they should be granted a safe haven in all the countries where they apply for asylum. And that's what we are now in the process of, so convincing not only public opinions, but also decision makers, political decision makers and others, that those people are peaceful, they don't represent any threat to the state security or to human security in any country where they are, that they have not committed any act of violence. But if they are sent back to China, they will be victims of acts of violence. So that's the process that we are now engaged in. Yes, so the message that we have started to send to the authorities of France, Germany, Italy, the three worst countries in the European Union that reject those applications, that they have nothing to fear from those Christians, because they abide by the rule of law. They just want to have a place where they will feel safe, and that they should grant them a political asylum, and then they will become citizens, peaceful citizens of the country, and they will contribute through their work to the development of the economy. They will not be there just to receive money from the state. They will want to take part in the life of the country. I've met a number of them in France, in Poland, in Germany, others coming from Italy as well. Those are young people, they are peaceful, they just want to have a normal life, quiet life, and to contribute to the society where they want to live.